Hello and welcome back to the West Georgia Report. This is our fourth episode. Today is Monday, March 1st, and the Canucks just won 4-0 over the Winnipeg Jets. We have a pretty interesting episode for you tonight. We're going to start off with a game recap. Going to bring you the who, where, what, and why of Danton Heinen and why he's being associated with the Canucks. And then we have our first iteration of start one, bench one, cut one. And of course, we're going to follow it up with the spice rack. I won't keep you waiting any longer. Here's Awful Strange by Fair Warning. All right, we're back. So I think I wanted to start off with the play of the goaltending tonight. 4-0 win for the Vancouver Canucks. Thatcher Demko brought a 27-save shutout. Dom, what do you think of his performance tonight?
Well, some recognition. First of all, great to see you guys. Hello.
Yeah,
good evening.
Welcome back.
Nice to record after a win. Spirits are a little higher. First career shutout, so that's a heck of a milestone. His 52nd career game, so it took a little while, but feels great nonetheless. The team did a great job in front of them tonight. They almost they looked like your old squad, the Islanders tonight, just shutting things right down. And I think that's the way they're going to have to play right now. Maybe with a little less skill depth wise in the roster. Maybe that's the style they're going to have to adapt here.
Yeah, one of the things I talked about last episode is that one thing they didn't get at all this season was, sort of a momentum saving, game changing sort of play from the goaltender. And that was exactly what they got tonight from Demko. 27 saves, brought his save percentage up to .906. And I know you predicted he was going to make a little bit of a run at the Vezina a couple episodes ago, Dom. You thought he was going to get hot, and that prediction ended up coming true tonight anyways.
Feels good to be half right. I predicted it a little early, but I'm gonna stay with it nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, a shot in the dark is a shot nonetheless, right? All right, Victor, what did you see out there tonight?
I thought their decor played well altogether. I mean, obviously, when you pitch a shutout, you see that. But even on the offensive side, I mean, to start the game, was it 2 or 3? It was the first 3 goals were all the exact same thing, right? Where D-man shot from the point. It was nice to see him get active, not hitting shin pads on the way through. Good on the forwards to get in front of Hellebuck and tip the pucks there. And then on the defensive side too, I thought they were taking a lot less chances, as well as the forward group. Just they weren't kind of breaking out looking for the odd man rushes, stuff like that. They were really in position, I thought, tonight, and that kind of helped get them where they were and see if they can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, a couple of goals to start off the game, but it's the defensive core looked really, really nice and just sitting down and actually being able to hold on to that lead for once. I know all the memes on Twitter are flying about how confident the fan base is in that 3-goal lead. So
yeah, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's hard earned. They've earned a reputation.
Yeah, it was nice to see Nate Schmidt shoot on the other net instead of putting them in our own this time, which is good.
He's coming around, baby.
And it was nice to see both Schmidt and Demko come through with a win when we really needed one, obviously. Both of them haven't had super steady seasons so far. So seeing both of them come through with a win when we really needed it was really nice, especially from Schmidt. That early goal was really, really nice to watch.
Yeah, I believe that was his first multi-point night of the season, if I'm not incorrect. I may be incorrect.
And guess who picked him up in fantasy 2 days ago?
I actually was looking for him on the waiver wire, so that explains it.
But Robin, you're totally right. It's when they need it bad. And you look at how the season's gone, and I mean, yes, it's a short season, so we're getting down to the wire time, down to the push soon, but it's still also relatively early in the year for how weird this year is. And they're not out of it yet. As good as the top of the division is, right now, the Habs and Flames are really struggling just ahead of them. And they're not out of it by any means, especially the way the Flames look tonight, which is ugly from the start. But I think if they're going to have this success, it's gonna come from efforts right now and playing that kind of shutdown style where Schmidt talked about it between the second and third periods in his interview. And he said, after they blew those leads last time between the coaches and the elder guys on the team, the message was the maturity to be able to simplify the game when you have that lead, and to not try and make those skill plays and do too much, to just simplify the game and be mature about it.
Yeah, where do you think that comes from? Is that the top down? Is that something that you think Greener is preaching?
I think for sure it starts with Green, but the way Schmidt was talking, it sounded like kind of the leadership group in the room kind of started preaching that after that last game, and which is a great message to send to the young guys, and a message that needs to be heard.
Yeah, and it was heard too. That third goal from Hoglander on the power play. It's nice to see the second power play unit get a goal. I think that's only their second of the season. And they actually got a fair amount of run. They looked pretty good. Virtanen was moved onto that unit, and I believe Edler was the second defenseman who was taken off. Not too sure about that, honestly, but it was nice to see Virtanen out there, and actually it opened up a bit more space and increased the mobility of that second unit.
It was also really nice, I think, at the beginning of the game. So it's game 25 of the season, and we have 25 first period goals, and that's second in the league behind only Edmonton with 29. So I gotta say, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for the first period, like compared to last year when everybody was like pooping their pants the first period because the Canucks were getting scored on 6 times in the first 10 minutes. Like, it's pretty nice to see the Canucks like maybe not do so bad with that this year.
Yeah, we just gotta shore up the third period now.
Yeah, unfortunately, the first period isn't the one you need to win the games. But
in the words of Alex Burrows, you gotta win
that turd.
No, but you're right, Robin. Absolutely, they getting off to that big start. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. That's the only way they can win this year.
So speaking of Alex Burrows, I wanted to bring up Antoine Roussel, and specifically just
where's the correlation there?
Just how invisible he's been. The only time I ever see him on the ice is when he's missing a breakaway shot. Well, not a breakaway,
the rooster,
but on an odd man rush, or he's getting sent to the box. So I just wanted to call out Antoine, and we need better from you, buddy.
Yeah, it seems like anyone who's on the fourth line for Canucks right now, I mean, that's where the biggest problem lies up front every night. It looked a little bit better tonight, minus Roussel, McEwen, and who else is on that line with him tonight?
Beagle.
I mean, they're more solid fourth line players, and kind of the mold you think of when you think of a fourth line. When you look around the league, like, it's guys who bring the energy and who are making hits and just finding ways to get into the game and get your team going and just play a solid shift. And right now for the Canucks, that fourth line just feels like guys you can't find another spot for right now. It's not guys who are like fourth line guys. It's guys who are struggling and they don't really have anyone else to put there. It's either a guy who a top 6 guy who's really struggling, or kind of a guy who, like, thankfully we haven't seen Louis in a couple games, and hopefully that continues, but just a guy where there's another spot for.
Yeah, I think the bottom 6 is really injury deprived right now as well. I mean, Tyler Mott's out, Justin Bailey's out. One guy I'd like to see, I hadn't even thought of his name for probably a few years actually, but do you think Sven Barchi could get a chance in that bottom 6?
Oh, I forgot.
Spark some offense. Too. I'm not sure what he's doing. I don't think it's a possibility just because of the border and everything. I think he's playing in Utica, and I'm not sure how that'll work for a bottom 6 guy. I don't know if it's worth it, but something to think about.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he was still with the organization.
He might not be.
I've heard that name. But
he could be playing in the KHL for all we know.
Yeah, no, I agree. That could be a good look in the bottom 6. I actually thought McEwen he's brought a lot to that line since he's been called up. I know he's played probably 4 or 5 games since he's been added off the taxi squad, and the toughness, and we saw it in the fight against Forbear, however you say his name. And it's just nice to actually see an element of physicality and something different brought to the bottom 6, as opposed to, just mediocre play and nothing beyond that.
One play I noticed tonight that I really liked, that was a play I noticed that hurt the team a lot and in recent games, was coming back on the back check. The forwards did a lot better job of helping the D tonight as well. There were some times where it was almost identical play to ones that have happened in games past, and it led to on-man rushes where the D-man rushes across to try and pinch them off, when it's really not a good play because he's not looking behind him and there's no back check, and that guy's just had an on-man rush coming down the weak side. But tonight, I think I missed a couple minutes of the game, but I'm pretty sure I only saw one odd man rush, And there was one play particular where Myers went flying over to the other side, and I was like, oh, I've seen this before, to cut the guy off. But the forwards were doing such a good job on the backside of back checking and staying with their guys, picking up a man and eliminating those odd man rushes.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to go to a break, and I'm sorry, Victor. I'm really sorry.
I was just going to pipe in there and add on to what Don was saying. I think getting that early lead really helps with that. I think when you're playing with the 3-goal lead, whatever it is, 6-7 minutes into the game, and what they've done in the past, they knew what situation they were in, and they know that they've blown that lead so many times. So just doubling down and making sure you're back all the time, I think that helped. And to break.
And now we're going to go to a break. Catch you back in a minute. All right, so we're back, and we're going to have a little segment on Danton Heinen. He's been all over the news lately. His name has been tied to the Canucks about 1 million times. He's a Langley kid. Dom took it upon himself to do hours and hours of extensive background research, salary cap, procedures. How are we going to make this work, Dom? Why do we keep hearing Danton Heinen's name?
Well, Danton Heinen, he's a very interesting player. First of all, he's from Langley, so he's a local kid. Actually, he works out here in the summer. Saw him this summer working out, leaving the gym. Not a big deal. And about to drop a humble flex. After I saw him, I texted Jake DeBrusk, and I asked about what kind of guy he was. And Jake said he's a really, really quiet, funny guy, like in a quiet way, like just goes about his business quietly, but is a funny guy, good locker room guy. All the boys love him. He's a really good team guy. And when the Beast traded him away last year, Bruins fans were irate. It looked like such a bad trade at the deal, because he did show a lot of promise when he was with the Bruins, a lot of skill, and they traded him for Nick Ritchie 1-for-1, and it looked bad last year. Ritchie came over and looked brutal for the Bees. He played brutal last year for them, and Heinen went over there and scored a couple times. But now it's kind of flip flopped, and Ritchie's playing well for the Bruins this year, and kind of is in that role they need for him. And Heinen hasn't been able to find a role at all in Edmonton, in Anaheim. And so they're ready to move on. They're in the middle of a rebuild, and Heinen, he got his career started late. He didn't get drafted till he was 20. He's already 26, even though he hasn't been in the league that long. I believe he turns 26 in a couple of days, actually. And so they've got a lot younger guys, Lundstrom, Comtois, Steele, Zegras, Troy Terry, who are all not only 2-3 in Zegras' case, 4 or 5 years younger. They're also all Anaheim first round picks, besides I think Comtois, who was early second. So the franchise is a lot more invested in them, and I believe Heinen was a healthy scratch again tonight. He's been a healthy scratch the last few games, so the writing's on the wall. They're ready to move on. They're going to stick with the guys who are homegrown and have more upside or younger, and are going to come a little bit cheaper. Now, with that being said, he does make less money than Virtanen, so they won't have to free any cap space there to bring him in if that's who they're trying to move for him. And I think he fits the Canucks mold better in terms of them hopefully looking for a top 6 player in return, if not a guy who can produce on that third line. When he's always been a high skill guy. He was a bit of a steal in the draft, honestly. The Bruins got him in the 4th round out of the BCHL, which is very rare. When he was almost 20, I think maybe I'd already turned 20 or was 19. And he lit it up his 2 years in Denver, scored like crazy. His rookie year for the Bruins was amazing after a sick rookie year in Providence as well. 47 points as a rookie in the NHL. It's no joke at all. So the upside is there. The offensive skill is there. But he hit that sophomore slump, and he just could never really recover from it. He had that tough second year, and then his third year, he was up and down from the A, and the NHL just couldn't really find his game. But he's always been a player who's showed a lot of heart. His feet are always moving. He works his ass off, and he's got a lot of speed and a lot of upside in the skill department. So, and he's also a player that has always been fueled whenever they were in big games for the Bruins. Watching him, he was always a guy who was fueled by energy, fueled by momentum. And so I think for a guy like him, and this is going to be, I think if the Canucks trade for him, it's going to be a long-term thing. He has an expiring contract, so you are going to have to re-sign him, but it probably won't be for more than 2, because he's really struggling right now, and he makes less than that already. So I think he's going to be a guy that in long term, when the fans are back next season, he's a guy who's going to be able to bring a lot of offense, because he's going to be energized, going to be invigorated by a fresh start. And I just think overall it'd be a good fit for the Canucks. And according to a lot of reports, it seems like it's gaining a little bit of traction.
So one of the most intriguing parts to this deal to me is that Virtanen, we just extended him for 5.1 for 2 years. So he's getting 2.55 per season. But Heinen is coming. He's going to be an expiring contract, so that'll free up an extra $2.55 million for the Canucks to play with salary cap wise for next year, if they don't want to retain Heinen, because that's an extra way they could add some flexibility to possibly re-sign Hughes, Pedersen, and Demko, who are all due for their rookie extensions this coming off season. And on top of that, I totally agree. Like, this could just be, like maybe the Canucks are kind of willing to throw in the towel, or say he plays really well and there's, a 2 or 3 month tryout period for Heinen. And I would like this deal to happen sooner than later, so we can actually get a real look at him, see him play with different line combinations, and essentially just get Virtanen off the team while his value is high, because he's actually playing pretty well over these last couple of games.
Yeah, I think it's a good move by the team to try and get him some top 6 minutes to try and up his trade value. And like you said, he does have an expiring contract, so it will space if they do decide to move on. But also, if they do decide to re-sign him, I honestly, he signed at 1.8 annual average value for when he was with the Bruins, coming off a high point year. And now he's coming off multiple healthy scratches, only 3 points this year in, 10 plus games. And so if he isn't able to turn that around, it is a kid that they're probably going to be able to get for cheap next year.
Yeah, it's an interesting look whether or not they want to use that flexibility for those other contracts, or if they're going to end up keeping him. One thing I want to bring to light is that you had a proposal for a Virtanen for Sam Bennett swap, I think, during our first episode, and this trade is eerily reminiscent to that. But I do like Heinen more than Bennett.
Yeah, I think Bennett's a little more sandpaper kind of guy, and I think the Canucks maybe have a couple of those already who aren't necessarily producers, but kind of sandpaper guys. And I just think the upside is probably higher for Heinen in the end, if he can find that game.
Victor, Robin, any thoughts?
I think it'll be up to the Canucks to take a chance on some players that they maybe aren't super sure on. I think at the deadline and just, before that, obviously what we have going right now isn't working super well. To me, tonight was not, it sucks to say, but tonight doesn't really feel like an indication of the Canucks long term. It feels more just like a one night where we played really well and the Jets didn't play super well. So I think it's still going to come down to us taking a chance on players that we aren't super sure about, and getting rid of players that we aren't sure that we want to get rid of, but just take the leap, just do it. Something's got to change.
Do the Canucks play the Jets again next game? I didn't look at the schedule.
Yes.
The next day,
Yeah,
actually.
so the next day, tomorrow again already. Wow. So yeah, the Jets, they'd won 4 in a row coming into this, and getting shut out at home, they're going to be hungry to not let that happen again. So you're right, Robin. It could just be a one-off. So tomorrow night's going to be a huge indicator is if they've actually taken a step, or if the Jets just maybe had an off night.
Yeah. Dom, what do you think, if this was to happen, what do you think Denton Heinen's sort of ceiling is? Is he like a Tanner Pearson like player, or what does he look like out there?
Who would be a comp for him? Jeff Skinner, hopefully in a couple of years. No, he's a guy who would I compare him to? Maybe kind of I don't know if there's a really good comparable on the Canucks. Maybe a kind of a guy like wow, you really put me on the spot with that one. I can't really I'm trying to think of a guy who's kind of just all speed and kind of just is a bit of a pinball out there. And
like what Jake should be.
That one. What Jake a little less physical than that, though. I think he's got a little bit more of the kind of little bit of dirt to his game.
All right, sorry.
I don't know. You put me on the spot with that one. Why'd you do that to me? Come on.
You do hours and hours and hours of research, but you can't answer the one.
Yeah, I actually just have his hockey DB in front of me. I was just reading line for line.
When you saw him at the gym that time, why didn't you just ask him what he played like?
I said, hey, I literally rolled down my window. I screamed out, Dan, player comp, quick. Who do you like? Who you model after? I think he said Wayne. I don't know. Couldn't hear the end.
Yeah.
No, I think you're thinking of Brent.
Oh, Brent Gretzky.
All-time
player.
highest scoring pair of brothers in the history of the NHL.
Very true.
Good player.
All right, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to have our first ever segment of Start One, Bench One, Cut One. All right, we're back. So this is our first ever iteration of a new game called Start One, Bench One, Cut One, where essentially we're going to pick 3 players, and we're going to start one, bench one, and cut one. So essentially I'm asking you to pick between your children, your favorites, your least favorites, and so on and so forth. So our first trio for tonight, I informed my 3 co-hosts of, is going to be Oli Uelevi, Travis Hamonic, and Jordy Ben. Start one, bench one, cut one. Victor, you're up first.
I'm starting Oli. No,
Ooh.
no, I'm not. I'm starting. Yeah, I am. I'm starting Oli Levy because I think in just the state that the team's in, I know we won 4-0 today, but in the state that things are, to me, clearly going, why he's not getting any better in the press box. And you want to get these guys ready for next year. I think he's going to hopefully take another big step next year. So you try to get him as much playing time as he can this year in the top 6 of that defense core. I will bench Hamonic because I know he's got a no movement clause, but I think you might be able to get something out of that at the trade deadline, especially if you trade him within Canada. Edmonton might be looking for a defenseman. Who knows? Maybe Toronto. And then that leaves me to cut Jordy Ben. No reason for it. You can flip-flop him and Hamonic, but I think that's my 3.
All right, Robin.
It's the correct 3, by the way.
So now that we have completed the joke pile, the joke portion of the segment, I would start. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so bad.
Yeah, I made the joke.
I would start Ben, put him with Hughes, because I really want to see more out of those 2. Bench Uelevi, because he needs more time on the bench. I'm so sorry.
Ooh.
And I would cut Hamonic because I just don't vibe with him. And that is the one reason.
Is it because he's missing his teeth?
He's pretty handsome other than that, honestly.
I actually haven't seen his picture, but I'm going to Google him right now, and that may change my opinion, full disclosure.
On who, sorry?
So you're more likely to keep him if he has no teeth?
You know
I don't know.
what?
Robin's into some weird stuff right now.
That's
Frogs.
that Brent Burns
Ooh,
commercial that
actually,
gets her going.
I think we can keep him.
Okay. Oh.
So who are you cutting?
Okay.
You can't cut Oli. Oli's a beautiful man.
No, actually, you know what? We can cut Hamonic. We can cut Hamonic. He's got a weird face.
Robin had all the notes ready to go. She really put a lot of thought into this, and then she got to the time to present, and she said, "Wait a second.
He's got a weird face.
Wait a second. We're
That's
missing the biggest part
exactly
here."
how it went. Like, I actually
We got
wrote down notes for this. Zach told me to get prepared for this, and I got prepared for this, and I was so ready. And then I Googled a picture of him, and I am genuinely questioning my own thoughts. So, yeah.
You can't go stats with no picture. You got to get the full story.
Exactly. Thank you, Dom. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I guess there's one more side to play here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start Hamonic. Always liked him as a player. Good guy. Good Western Canadian kid. Ben, also a good Western Canadian kid. He's going to be coming off the bench for some nice depth. And for this season, for this reason, we're cutting Uelevi because right now, like I said, the way the team's going to play right now, if they can get hot here, starts tonight by the time this drops in the future, it's time to win now. It's not tanking season yet. The guys in the room don't want to tank yet. And as good as Uelevi's future is, the best roster on the ice tonight for the way they have to play for that shutdown style is their shutdown guys and the lineup they had tonight on the back end. So Yul Levy, my corner, you're out, buddy. See you later.
It's because he's Finnish and not from Western Canada.
Oh,
Dom is racist
I
towards all
set
Finns.
myself up for that after.
Is
after
it
putting the
Dom
first two
or
locations in
Don Cherry? Who are we
Dom
talking?
Cherry.
Dom
Cherry.
Cherry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We
Didn't
have
think that was
three
coming.
differing. We had three differing opinions here. I'm going to
We
bring
did.
the correct answer. We are starting Jordy
Oh.
Ben, benching Oli Uelevi, and kicking Travis Hamonic to the curb. Ben's been really, really, really good. Actually, he's been probably the best
Oh,
defender.
wow.
No, I'm not. I'm kidding. He's got 24 blocks and 8 hits. So I like that he can sacrifice the body. Meanwhile, Uelevi is getting benched because he has 7 giveaways to only 2 takeaways. So he's turning the puck over a little bit more than he's getting it back. And he's a good young player. I like to have him in the system for a long time. And Travis Hamonic, just not enough teeth for me. So that's it.
Wow,
This is what-
teeth are making a way bigger factor into this episode than I ever would have figured.
Yeah, well, I don't. He's only played 6 games, or he's only played, 6 games worth of stats that I could see on Hockey DB. He's got 7 games under his belt now, but he has been, anything but impressive to me. He had a pretty bad turnover in front of the net tonight, so that's what I'm basing my
I
opinion
wonder
off
if he
of.
stuck up for you.
This is what Travis Green has to wake up with every morning as well. He thinks, who am I kicking on my corner? And lately it's been
Who's
Oli.
in? Who's in? Who's out?
All right, that was
Yeah,
pretty
no.
good. You guys want to do another one?
Well, you said you had a surprise one for us.
I have a
so
surprise one.
us.
Okay, so the first name is my namesake, Mr. Zach McEwen.
No.
Second one is Adam Gaudette, the hockey god. And
Oh.
finally, we have Jake Vertanen.
Is this my Fortnite team or on the lineup team?
So, actually, it's up for interpretation. You can phrase a question however you want, but there is 4 people allowed in a Fortnite squad, I think. So you can play with all 3 of them if you want.
Perfect. We'll see you later, Vic. Have a good game, bud.
Yeah, it was nice having you on the pod. All right, Dom, you're up.
Yeah.
Start one, bench one, cut one.
Oh, I was just about to have a sip of water.
Bad timing.
Well, I'm gonna start Gaudette. I know he hasn't really done that much to make me say it, but I've always liked him. I don't know why. I just think he's got good upside, and I really liked him in college. I just really liked his game, and I don't know why he hasn't been able to quite put it together, but I liked him and Hoglander together tonight. I thought that was a fun duo. I would actually like to see them with Horvat in between. I don't know. I was thinking that tonight. I think that would be a fun line, but I like those two together, Hoglander and Gaudette. So I think that could be a fun duo going forward. It creates kind of more depth, and if that's their third line, they're able to disperse it. That's a heck of a third line if they can get producing. I'm gonna start McEwen because I think he's got that good DNA. Or sorry, not start, bench McEwen. We'll have him coming off the bench playing some small minutes because I think he's got that good DNA that I like for the 4th line. And then Vertanen out. See you later.
Bye. All right, Robin.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna say start McEwen, based on the fact that he's been doing, I think, an excellent job. He brings a lot of really good energy to the ice, and it reflects in the stats. So that's really, really good to see. I would bench Gaudette for the sole reason that he just has been having garbage puck luck recently. He just cannot seem to, that's kind of been like his theme. So I don't even know if I can say that it's puck luck because that's just always been his thing. Everyone every year says like, oh, Gaudette is always, he's had all these chances and for some reason he's not capitalizing on them. So like I would just bench Gaudette for that reason. I think he's not quite at the end of his, I don't think actually he's close to the end of his chance
Kinda
here, but he's definitely, he could be doing better. And then obviously Vertanen, cut that boy. So sorry.
Will anybody be keeping him? Victor.
Foxy Sundays will never be the same.
I will start with the cut, and we're cutting Jake. Just get that out of the way early.
Oh.
Jump ahead to the start. I'm gonna follow Rob and say start Zach McEwen. I think he brings that sort of piece that no one else on this team really has in the physical aspect, and he's able to step up. Not really, he plays the enforcer role in a game that doesn't really have the enforcer anymore, and he brings so much more than that. I think he can produce offensively if he's given more minutes. I think he's been playing the least amount of minutes in the whole forward core when he's in the lineup, and I think that should change. Yeah, I really like this game. I really like his presence when he's out there. The other team always knows when he's out there. And when you have these smaller guys and when you get big bowling guys going after Hoglander, you need someone there to stick up for him. And then, I'll have Gaudette coming off the bench. I agree with Rob. He's got the bad puck luck. Those two might flip-flop in the future if Gaudette gets things going, but for now it's McEwen.
I'm starting for 10.
I didn't think you were going to talk. I'm sorry.
And
you went silent, and then I had something to add on Victor, so I kind of threw.
Well, I was putting more emphasis into it.
I know. I didn't realize there was a dramatic reveal coming.
And I'm starting him simply because he is the best trade asset of the three of them, and I would like to see them move on from him for a little bit of assets and just keep the other guys in the system a little bit. But I guess if I have to cut somebody, it's probably going to be Gaudette. I do agree with the assessments over Zach McEwen. It's really nice to be able to have, even in a sport that doesn't really have fighting anymore, have a bruiser, but a guy who's disciplined about it, doesn't make a ton of mistakes, low on penalty minutes on the year. I think he's only got like 17 penalty minutes, and he's like just a solid guy to have in the bottom six. And I don't really have any complaints to issue about him.
Yeah, fighting's definitely gone down, but don't you feel like we're actually getting a good amount of them this year?
Yeah, I think it's because of the divisions and just the schedule, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a little more hate spewed more easily, but they're coming at the right times. Like there hasn't been any like bullshit fights where it's just, hey, you want to give me one? Like, let's go. Let's just get some going. Like, it's all been like the Canucks only fights have been like standing up for Hoglander, standing up for Demko. And like, they're coming at the right time.
Glove off and sucker punching a guy.
Roussel, that one was kind of weird.
That was a good one. Yeah, the Canucks haven't had too many. But I just feel like fighting's at a good spot in the game right now where I never think it needs to be completely eliminated. I've always been a firm believer in that. I think it has a time and a place, and I think it's been used in the right place right now. And also, I want to add, you guys are talking about puck luck for Gaudette. I feel like that's just a theme for the whole team right now. Like, they're top, I want to say almost 5. I think they're like 6th or 7th in the league in shots, and they're like 28th in shooting percentage. So you got to think that's going to flip eventually, hopefully. It might be a little indicative that they're not getting quite the high quality chances, but I think those numbers will start to flip.
Only time will tell. And only time will tell what you're going to see in the spice rack, which is up right after this. All right, welcome back. This is West Georgia Report, the Spice Rack, where we bring you the spiciest takes this side of the, what's it called again?
Georgia Street.
No, the Georgia
Fraser
Strait.
River?
The Georgia Strait. This side of the Georgia Strait. The hottest takes this side of the Georgia Strait. Victor, bring us the spice.
I will start Canucks related. I've got one Canucks, one league wide. Canucks related. I got a trade proposal. There's another team in Canada that is kind of in dire need of goaltending. Some call them the Canucks' biggest rivalry. Some don't. I don't know. The Edmonton Oilers might need a goalie. We've got 2. Demko's clearly the starter. Holtby is kind of placeholding. He's got his 2-year contract. I think we can ship him to Edmonton for Mikko Koskinen plus. Koskinen's got a little higher salary. They're both on for this year and next. So I think if you can get Koskinen, who will be a placeholder until whoever the next backup, if it's DiPietro or not, maybe Seattle takes him, probably not, but I think that'll be good. Plus you can get some sort of little booster in return. I don't know if it's a young defenseman, young forward, something like that. I think Edmonton could use Holtby. They're clearly making a run for it this year and in the next few years. I think Holtby would be an upgrade on what they have right now. I know Mike Smith played good the past few games, but it's Mike Smith. He always has these little spurts. Thought of that during the game. Could be something.
Okay, I don't mind that, but do the Canucks really need to be doing themselves less of a favor by giving another division rival competent goaltender?
Competent?
I think you just need, I don't know. When the Canucks figure out what they are doing this year, which needs to be in the next few days, if not weeks, I think then you just realize, I don't think that plays a big a factor as some people think it is if two teams are going in different directions. I don't think Holtby's I don't think Holtby's going to be that deciding factor as well. Like going to next year where hopefully the Canucks are competing, I don't think he's going to be the guy that's like, oh no, we traded this away and now he's biting us in the ass sort of thing.
So if they're folding, they might as well fold.
Yeah. And that's another piece that you can.
Canucks Twitter would go berserk over Koskinen's glove hand. Holy cow. Would that thing just bring torture to Vancouver fans within milliseconds of him being here?
He had a brutal game tonight, but I don't think he would start many games here. I think if you're doing that, you're kind of giving Demko the reins and only kind of playing Koskinen on back-to-backs or on the odd night. But yeah, you would hope so. And really, I'll say this is obviously not going to happen. Holtby just came here. He's got a no-move clause. He brought his turtles, for gosh sakes. He's not moving his turtles to Edmonton. It's cold there. Turtles don't live in the cold.
We now know what it takes to raise amphibians.
Yeah, we do firsthand.
So my only problem with that trade is that the Oilers just picked up a goalie like today, right?
Yeah. Is Stalock a starting guy? I mean, he could be.
So Stalock, first of all, somebody do my research for me here, please. Pull up Alex Stalock's career stats and info. I don't have the ability right now.
He played really well against the Canucks last year.
But the only thing is he's got a quarantine right before he even plays, so they're not even going to get a look at him and kind of what he's going to be able to bring for at least another couple weeks. So then they'll probably give him a few games to kind of get comfortable before they make a decision whether they want him or not. And I don't know, it just kind of creates a weird timeline for, I don't know, how close will that be to the trade deadline once he's able even to start playing?
Yeah, it's coming up. I don't know when it is. Is it mid-March, the trade deadline?
Yeah.
2-3 weeks. Yeah, it'll be just about there.
March late teens.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how Stalock does, or if they even use him at all. I don't even know what their plans are with him. He obviously hasn't been doing great to end up on waivers, but he has had some decent moments in the NHL. So we'll see if anything happens there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's played this year at all.
Oh, he hasn't played all this year?
Okay. I think he's been injured. I think he had an upper body injury of some kind.
I believe he is injured right now, yeah.
So speaking of goalies, I'm going to go ahead now, and this ties in excellently to what Victor was saying, is the Canucks need to go all in on Thatcher Demko and essentially play him 90% of all games and just really give him all the reps and see what they have in him. This isn't really a hot take because Holtby has been kind of doo-doo so far this season, and Demko has obviously been better. But yeah, probably play Holtby on the back-to-backs and just give Demko the reins and really, really ride him.
He's young enough where he should be able to handle that.
Yeah, and shipping out Holtby to Edmonton for ye old one-handed Koskinen is probably not that bad of an idea.
Oh yeah. Not too bad, Vic. Some could be up there. Some could be afoot.
See, between the four of our brains, we could do exactly what Jim Benning is doing. But slightly better.
Let's not get too excited. Yeah. Robin, what do you got?
Jordan Binnington, I think, has just been an absolute piece of shit.
To put it nicely.
Yes. So if we go all the way back to him as a young man, I know we've all heard the stories, but I just have to bring it up. He's a real racist piece of shit on Twitter, hasn't deleted the tweets, hasn't apologized for them, says he just wants to play hockey. That's a super unacceptable and super not okay response to something like that. In 2021, we all fuck up, we all make mistakes, but you have to take accountability for them. And the fact that he hasn't taken accountability for it and continues to do weird things and not make any effort to support the communities he's harmed is super disappointing. So there's that whole part of Jordan Binnington, which has made me personally not like him for a number of years. And then the fact that in the past week, he's just been like he just like had a freaking temper tantrum. Like, I'm sure we all saw the clips on Twitter. He lost. He was pulled out of the game, and he was just absolutely riling shit up along the way, just punching guys. And bothered me to see him like go up, do like the little punch, the little drive by, and then like the quick skate away. Like stop. Like if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna be confrontational, like risky goalie, go all in. You can't just like pretend to go up, be like, no, like that's not how that works. And if you're gonna be that guy, you got to be that guy, not do it at 50%. So Jordan Binnington, I wish you nothing but failure.
Yeah,
Go
like Dubnyk said even after the game too, he's like, what are you doing? Like, you're 160 pounds. He's literally like the smallest goalie in the league. Like, nobody's scared of you. Like, I would love to see him actually get in a goalie fight. I think any goalie in the league would kick his ass. And like you said, Robin, if you're going to be that guy, like the effect of kind of Jordan Binnington and what kind of everyone was so razzed about when he first came up was like how cool and calm he was. And like, but as he's kind of, that playoff run has faded and we've had some more time to kind of see what kind of player he is and what kind of person he is. It's kind of just like, it's not really a cool, calm cockiness. Like, it's just like an asshole cockiness now. And his effects kind of worn off, I think.
He's got a huge ego. Unbelievable.
Yeah. There were people when he went on his first run with the Blues who were saying like, oh, he can be this way because he is on this incredible run, which he was. Like, you cannot count the fact that he won the cup. Like, he was on an incredible run. He did incredible things, but you can't just like keep that attitude when you're not winning games. Like, are you not embarrassed? Are you not embarrassed for yourself? Like, what? Yeah, I'm embarrassed for him personally.
Yeah,
well not said. A good year to be Jordan.
No, he's really the opposite of what we saw that, what was it, 2019, where you just could not phase him. Anything the Bruins did in the final or anything, he just wouldn't look, wouldn't blink. And this year it seems like the littlest thing. And that was literally an elementary school temper tantrum that he threw Sunday night or Saturday night, whenever it was. It was quite funny. But yeah, he's gotta sort that out.
It wasn't like a cool funny though. It was like funny at his expense. Like,
it was like a sad weirdo. Yeah. Like I would not want to be associated with him at all.
No.
You could say he was looking a little nervous.
I look nervous.
Sorry, someone had to say it.
Also, can I just say, Jordan Binnington, as Tweet King Jordan Binnington once said, if you're on your period, just shut up. And as a woman, I personally don't think Jordan Binnington could handle a fucking period. He could not handle that shit. Like, he could not. He's like, I saw that on Twitter, and like, this man could not. Just like, Jordan Binnington, shut up. First, like, who are you to be tweeting about periods? You've never felt the touch of a woman. Sorry.
I don't know how we can even follow that up at all.
I don't even want to follow it up.
Should we just end the pod?
Thank you guys for giving me that space to go off.
Yeah. Happy to give that space.
That's great content. Video producer, can you take a cut of that clip and that can be our preview tweet video?
Yeah, that's going on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
On the web.
I'm gonna cut it and move it to the front of.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be the first minute, not the last minute.
He's tweeting about periods?
Handle a period. All right, Dahmer, as much as I hate to do this to you, you're up now because I know you've got one ready.
I hate it here. My hot take is, we saw a little sneak peek tonight of the Michigan. Ooh. Hoglander. He gave it a try. He tried to get that thing up there. And actually, in the Anaheim game tonight, Trevor Zegras, a couple hours ago, also tried it.
He got much
the young
closer.
Guys in the league are feeling, he actually got it up on the stick and got a shot. But so my hot take, Niels Hoglander, he's going to be the next NHL player to finish off a Michigan in style. And I think he's going to, tonight he tried the kind of easier way to scoop it, but I think he's going to get really weird with it and go with the old school, like press down and get it right up there. I think he's going to go and hit us with an old school one. He's going to be the next NHLer to get a Michigan.
this season.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna bring a real hot
Yeah.
take and say that Michigan's were a waste of time or something, and then I would have lost.
No.
The
No,
coolest
no.
goal in the game.
Yeah.
I don't see that. Yeah.
Why don't D-Man? Why don't you just bury him?
Why don't you just knock his lights out?
Old time hockey. You can't be letting players put it on their stick like that.
Back in my day, when we had the puck in our sticks, we shot it.
I would have just slashed him in the head. He'd be
Using their
unconscious.
sticks.
Try and put that puck on your stick again. Damn kids.
Are we done?
Ugh.
Yeah, Victor, bring us your hot take.
I already did. He went first.
Oh, we doing my
He gave us
second
a
one?
trade proposal. He's got something else for us. He's got 2 sleeves.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't even do my
Both.
homework, and guys are showing up with bonus marks. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. All right.
PCIT, baby.
I started off. I'll wrap it up. In last year, in the old bubble in Edmonton, can you guys remind me who played in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Dallas and Tampa.
Correct. Usually, when a team plays in the Stanley Cup Finals, do you expect them to be good the next year?
Yes.
Are the Dallas Stars good?
It's 2021.
No.
Victor. We don't have expectations anymore.
Correct. Good answer. Okay. I like that logic. But yeah, the Dallas Stars are going to miss the playoffs. They've played the least amount of games in the league. I'll give them that. Sure. Whatever. But they haven't looked good. They only have, I've done my research. Where are they? 16 points in 16 games. That's, they play 56 games in a season. Quick math. That's 56 points they're on pace for. That's not enough. The Central Division is probably, it's got good teams in there. The top 3, Carolina, Tampa, Florida. I think you can chalk that up as 1, 2, 3 in any order. Chicago's been looking really good. And I think everyone else is going to play them tough enough where they've kind of left themselves with not enough room to get back into that picture. And I don't think, none of their players have really stood out this year. They're missing Sagan for, I think, all year, which is definitely going to hurt them. But I don't think they've had anyone step up besides Pavelski. And this is not a Dallas Stars podcast, so I'll stop talking about them, but they're not going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, Sagan's he's scheduled to maybe return just before playoffs, kind of for a run if they get there, but it's not going to matter if they're not there.
I know Radulov has missed a bunch of time too, so.
The workhorse.
So one thing I would like to point out though is they are still playing the American national anthem before their games. And as we said last time, Robin has laid a curse on them for that. So
I totally
True.
forgot
Why-
about the
Yeah.
curse.
Yeah, true.
So
they're-
the thing is,
West Georgia
if you, yes, so if you are a racist, you are bad at hockey, and the Dallas Stars unfortunately have crossed that line, and so they're now bad at hockey. Yeah, and that's just facts. I don't make the rules, but
and it's
those
not
are
up
the
for
rules,
discussion.
and it's
All
not up for
right.
discussion.
this
You
has
know,
been
one last
the-
thing. I got another hot take. Circle back. Go ahead. Circle
Oh.
back here.
Dom, we're gonna run out of
Come on
airtime,
back.
buddy.
Come on back. Last time I said the LA Kings were going to make the playoffs. Since then, they're now not in a playoff spot. And the Wild are all of a sudden the hottest team in the world. So check on the score right now in the Vegas Minnesota game, please update. But
They lost in overtime.
Minnesota lost,
In overtime.
but still grabbed a point. So they're still hot. 6-game winning streak's over, but 7-game point streak lives on. But my hot take is that the Kings are still going to make the playoffs. I'm not getting off that hot take. That makes it a little hotter this week. It wasn't as hot last week because they had won 5 in a row. Now I'm sticking with it. A little bit of controversy, no problem. Adapt, overcome, playoffs, LA Kings, Stanley Cup.
Put that
Oh,
in
I didn't mean to
t-shirt.
say that last part. That was too far.
Hey, he jinxed it. He really
I got
was
way
gonna happen,
too
but I was
fired
not.
up. I got caught up in the take.
All right, everybody. This has been the Spice Rack. This has been the West Georgia Report. I've been Zach Kedash. He's been Victor Robichaux. She's been Robin Horner. He's been Dom Valley. Catch us again next time. Here is fair warning.
What